3x3 cube. So this is like the most common type of Rubik's cube. People mostly get this one or start with this one, even though there's a 2x2 that exists. So yeah, today we are going to see how to get this guy solved. So let's get straight into it. Firstly, to solve the cube, we need to learn these two important algorithms that we use throughout. For your right hand, it would be right, up, right inverted, up inverted. Let's see that again. Right, up, right inverted, up inverted. Same way, for your left, it's left inverted, left, up. So the first step would be to solve the white cross at the bottom. We start by forming this daisy kind of a pattern. So keep the yellow square in the middle and just try to get the other four sides of white squares, so that in the end we have a form that looks something like a daisy or a flower. Once done, we make sure that the four squares on top have their sides aligned to the same color in the middle row. For the square with the blue side, just find the match, align the middle row with it and rotate it 180 degree. Do the same for the next color. This one's already aligned, so just need to rotate it 180 degrees. Then comes orange, same thing, match, align, rotate. And green, match, align and rotate. Now when we turn the cube upside down, you will see that we have achieved our first step, which is to solve the white cross. And not just that, you will also notice that we already have the centers of all the other sides in place with the correct color. The next step would be to solve the four white corners at the bottom. Let's see how it's done. Turn the side of the white cross so that it stays at the bottom. Since we are solving the white corners, try to find a white cube on the top right and make sure its adjacent colors matches the centers of both the sides. So this one does not match. We need green and pink. This one doesn't match either because it's green and orange, but this side does. Once we've matched the colors and placed it in position, just use the right hand algorithm. So right, up, right inverted, up inverted. Keep repeating this algorithm until we have moved the white cube at the bottom in one of its corners so that it's in place. Every time you repeat the algorithm, just check down if you've already got the square in place. I'm just repeating this until I solve it. Right, up, right inverted, up inverted. Checking below and you see that we have a white corner down there. Also notice that the color on the sides of this corner square matches with the sides of the cube as well. Repeat the same process for another corner or another side. So I have a white cube on top here on the top right. You can see that the sides of the square already match the sides of the cube. So I'm just using the right hand algorithm directly. I keep repeating the algorithm until I've moved that square down at the bottom, so another corner of white is in place. So you see this? We have the second corner in place. Moving to the other side, I just position this corner so that it matches its sides and then use the same right hand formula. Alternatively, you could also position these corner squares on the left side and use the left hand formula as well. Both would work either ways. Now you can see that we've brought down another corner in its place and we have just one last corner to solve. However, you see that we do not have any white squares to use the algorithm on. And that's because we have this white square positioned at the bottom already, but the colors have been switched. So I just use the same right hand formula again once to bring that out from that place. Once done, you can see that we now have the white square on top and we can match its adjacent sides and use the same right hand formula like we previously did. Eventually, we solve all the corners of the white square and thus completing our second step. And do notice we've not just solved the white side but also the first layer or the first row along with its matching centers in place. Third step would be to solve the edges of the middle layer. By now you would see that we have little inverted T's on every side of the cube with the same color. We now have to solve the sides or the edges of the middle layer because we already have the centers in place. To do that, we find a match to the centerpiece on the top layer and align it right above it. So in this case, green does not match the pink center. So we need to look or position the top layer in such a way we find a match for the pink. So I keep rotating the top layer until I find a match to the center. Once I align the matching square on top to the middle one, I see that the adjacent color is blue. So I now know that this one needs to move towards the left. So when your target position is on the left side and if you have to move it towards the left, then we need to use this algorithm. Up inverted once and then the usual left hand algorithm, which is left inverted, up inverted, left, up. And then we turn the entire cube to the right and follow the right hand algorithm, which is right, up, right inverted, up inverted. So now when you turn the cube back to its original place, you can see that we've actually moved the squares to its target position. So we have solved one side of the middle layer. Let's see if there's any other match to the pink center. We couldn't find any. So move to the next side, maybe green. Align the top square to match the center square, and since orange is the adjacent side, it has to go towards the right. So again, to move it towards the right or when the target position is on the right, we use this algorithm. Up once and then the right hand algorithm, which is right, up, right inverted, up inverted. Turn the cube towards the left and do the left hand algorithm, which is left inverted, left, up. Now turn the cube back in place and see that we've actually moved the green top square to its target position on the right, thereby solving another edge in the middle layer. Now let's try another side. So pink, which is aligned, and we need to move it towards the right. Use the same algorithm since the target position is on the right. On completing the algorithm, you will notice that we've solved another edge for the pink side. Next, for the orange side, we see that we do not have a match on the top to align with the center. That's because it is already placed on the right edge. Just that the colors have been switched. Do not get confused when you find a match with yellow as an adjacent side, because yellow needs to stay on top and we cannot move that to another target position. So now let's focus on removing the square on the right side edge of the middle layer so we can have it back on top, position it, and use the algorithm again to solve the edge. So you can see me using the algorithm there, and once done, we have the orange and blue square on top and out from the previous position. We can now go back to moving this to the target position on the right. Just use the same algorithm, and once you're done, we have the orange and blue square moved from the top to the right edge, and eventually we end up solving the second layer as well. Fourth step would be to create a yellow cross on top. So to solve the yellow edges on top or to form a yellow cross, just check if you have a yellow horizontal line. If you do not have such a pattern and just have random yellow squares on top, follow this algorithm. Just turn front and use the usual right hand algorithm, which is right, up inverted, and then front inverted. If you end up having a pattern like this where yellow is on one of the corners, just place it on the top left and use the same algorithm. And once you're done, you will end up with a yellow horizontal line, which is what we need. Maintain the straight yellow line in a horizontal position and follow the same algorithm again. So we end up having a yellow cross on top. So you see this? We've completed the next step. Step 5 is to align the yellow cross edges with the center of the sides. Now, to align the edges of this yellow cross with the centers of the sides, we need to make sure that the colors match. So just turn the top layer, align the correct color with the center, and make sure it's just one color that's aligned, and use this formula: right, up, right inverted, up inverted twice, and right inverted again. You can now see that the edges of the yellow cross match with the centers of the sides. The next step is to orient the yellow corners with its matching colored sides. So look for any corner with its adjacent colors already matching the sides. So this one doesn't. but this one does match. So blue and pink. Position it and follow this algorithm. Up, right, up inverted, left inverted, up, right inverted, up inverted, left. You can now see that the adjacent colors of all the 4 corners on top match with the colors of the sides of the cube as well. Now that we are done with orienting these corners, the next step would be to solve these corners. The final step is to solve the yellow corners, thereby solving the complete yellow side, which obviously means that we've solved the entire cube. Since we already have 2 corners solved, let's just focus on the remaining 2 corners. Position one on the top right corner and follow this algorithm. Up, right, up inverted, right. Repeat it until that corner is solved. So up, inverted, right. Again, up, inverted, right. Do this until that corner is solved and it's done. Now just turn only the front face to position the next corner on the top right so we can solve that corner as well. I'm using the same formula again, up, inverted, right, and there we go. Just align the last layer and you can now see that we've successfully solved the entire cube. Hope this helped. Thank you for watching, and this is Archana signing off.